Hello and welcome back to Lore Master Caerula. In this video we will be talking about one of the more short-lived but crucial groups of characters in the Battle Angel Alita series, the AR Tuned series. So join me as we take a closer look at what the Tuned were, who made up their ranks, and what became of them later in the timeline. The Tuned project was created during troubled times for Tiphares. Den and his Barjack army had been causing massive trouble for Tiphares and their operations on the surface, and a solution needed to be created. That is where the GIB come into play, also known as the Tipharean Ground Investigations Bureau. After Alita had defeated Japan, she was due to be exterminated by the factory for the crime of using a gun. However, the GIB director, Bigot Eisenberg, stepped in and offered Alita an accord, a chance to save her life if she became the first of Tiphares' new tuned agents. Though reluctant, Alita would accept and take the title of A1. For some 10 years, Alita had become the GIB's top agent on the ground, and she would quickly garner a reputation as the so-called Angel of Death due to her unmatched skill and cruelty in battle. Part of Alita's duties included safeguarding the trains that ran on the factory railroad and working loosely with the rail mercenaries that were assigned to do the same thing. Whilst Alita toiled on the surface and inevitably grew closer to her handler, named Lou Collins, Mr. Bigot and the GIB were not content to leave their operations in the hands of an often rebellious firebrand like Alita, and began working on the tuned AR Series 2, AR being short for Alita Replica, with the intention of replacing Alita with them when the time came. Near the end of the Barjack War, with Den's massive railway gun known as Heng completed, and Alita making a beeline for Destiny Nova's base of operations, known as Granite Inn, the GIB decided the time was right to send in the new tuned units, with AR-2 confronting Alita with the mission of terminating Alita then and there. Meanwhile, AR-10 arrived on the scene at Heng with the intention of destroying the weapon and killing any Barjack that stood in her way. Unfortunately for Bigot and the GIB, things only went half to plan. AR-10 oversaw the destruction of the massive railway gun, true, and killed many soldiers, yet she had let her guard down and was caught off guard and killed by the cyborg dog Fury, which ultimately ended in her death via immolation. AR-2 likewise had nearly managed to kill Alita, having her predecessor at her mercy before Alita's handler and friend Lou Collins shot at the computers linked to AR-2, which shorted her out and allowed Alita to gain the upper hand and finally finish off AR-2. Soon after, director Bigot Eisenberg would speak to Destiny Nova, who's inside the Granite Inn, and Nova would reveal to Bigot the secret of Tiphares, that their brains have been replaced with biochips. This revelation drove Eisenberg insane and activated the MIB robots, whose sole purpose was to silence anyone who knew the secret, which would inevitably spiral toward the downfall of Tiphares as a whole and the utter destruction of the GIB, which we see more in Last Order. But what of the remaining tuned agents? We know that there were 13 tuned units in total, from Alita herself, A1, to AR-13. However, when the GIB fell apart, we know GR6, who is more commonly known as Setch, took it upon themselves to prove their existence by killing their fellow tuned. We see this at the end of Last Order in a flashback, how she hunted down and killed AR-4, and eventually killed every other tuned with the exception of AR-11 and AR-12, and of course Alita. The twins, also known as Elf and Zwolf, had to team up to defeat Setch as well. Whilst the GIB is long gone, to this day Up to Mars Chronicle 4 tuned remain, as Elf and Zwolf, Alita, and Setch had not only survived the Zenith of Things tournament as a part of the Space Angels team, but have gone on to do other things. Alita is currently on Mars dealing with the Necro Soldier crisis. Setch, meanwhile, has joined with the Stellar Nursery Society, given he's only a couple years old, and fights for them, whilst the twins Elf and Zwolf have remained on Tiphares since the tournament. That's all I got for you today. Until next time, goodbye for now.